tonight. Central Iowa Sports Network presents.
Cole's going to get the call up the middle. He sees a seam. 10-5. Touchdown Maroons. He's got a seam. 5-2-1. Touchdown Valley Tigers.
Central Iowa Football. Live from Valley Stadium in West Des Moines. Central Iowa Football is brought to you by the Atlantic Bottling Company. CenturyLink. Central Iowa Football. Live on the Central Iowa Sports Network. Central Iowa Football is also brought to you by Schottenkirk Chevrolet. Shields. Are you ready for some football?
Good evening and welcome to Valley Stadium. It's playoff football, round number 2. Dory Danielson with you here along with Keith Bornas and Paul Yeager as the top-rated and undefeated Valley Tigers take on Ankeny Centennial. Ankeny Centennial coming in with just one loss on the season against Dowling Catholic, and it's kind of what you expect this time of year, Keith and Paul. A team with one loss, a team with no losses meeting up here, and unfortunately, they're meeting up now. When the winter goes on, one of these teams is going to be happy about a good season. The other team is going to be even happier that they're moving on to the next round of the playoffs.
Yeah, and both teams have been in this position several times. You go back into the early 2000s, it was either going to be Valley or Ankeny at that time that went on to the state title game. Valley was able to win a few more of those games than Ankeny did. Now Centennial, still under that same coaching staff, they put themselves in that position again year after year. Valley back in here, Dowling playing over at Waukee. Those four teams have really done a great job these last several years, and it's going to be a great game here and there.
And I can't remember many games where we've had the dome on the line, and I'm rolling up sleeves, and I might even take the long sleeve shirt off. We were just down on the field just a moment ago and doing a video tease that's live on the Facebook page. It's gorgeous down there. I mean, everybody's just relaxed. You would think it's early September.
Well, we were talking about that last week. We were up here too the same way, and it was warm out. We'll pause right now for our national anthem. First, we're going to have a moment of silence for the fallen police officers.
Sergeant
Tony Baminio of Des Moines and the Urbandale officer.
Thank you. At this time, we ask that you join Ilian Rojas in the singing of our national anthem. Ilian is a senior football manager.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rocket's red glare, the bomb bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Very nice job on our national anthem. They're releasing some blue balloons here tonight in support of the police officers. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we move along here, but getting ready for 10-0 West Des Moines Valley, 9-1 Ankeny Centennial playing here tonight in the second round of the playoffs. And I think Ankeny Centennial, to me, they're a little bit of a
Dodger crowd.
Of a quiet 9-1. It seems like, and maybe that's because all the attention has been on Valley and Dowling, as they've kind of been at the top of the rankings and played throughout the season here. And Ankeny's just kind of quietly moved through, Keith, with one loss on the season, and here in the second round playing Valley.
Yeah, and it's funny that that they've been doing this quietly, because they are a big play offense. When it comes to overall team speed, I don't think there is a team in the state that is faster than they are. They are so fast to the perimeter on offense and can cover people extremely well defensively. Anybody that saw their game last week or was at that game against Ankeny, Ankeny had a huge run early in the game, right down the center, and not only was he caught from behind, he was caught from behind by 2 or 3 Centennial guys. So when you have 3 guys that are as fast as another team's fastest guy, that's saying quite a bit about your overall team speed.
And I think they may have lost one of their best and fastest guys in Hunter Pinniger, who injured his leg. I saw him in the opening round game against Johnston, their opening season game, I should say, and he kind of brought them back and helped them win that game, and then they built on since that. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of speed we'll see out of them. The thing, though, that I've seen out of Valley is just their defense has been airtight, and they've been, had an answer for every offense, even the fast ones, the pounders, anything. They've been able to answer that all season, haven't they?
They really have. What they haven't had, however, they have not had a team that can reach the perimeter as fast as Centennial can. And so because Centennial is such a fast, quick, big-time, big play offense, it'll be very interesting to see how things unfold offensively for them against Valley's defense, and can Valley's defense hold up to it. Setting the edge is going to be very important for Valley's defense.
And in Valley's offense, we've talked about it. Not the grinding offense that we've seen in the past, but they have the big play there. Rocky's able to throw it down the field, and they have, Javon Mason, the running back. So, it's going to be a good matchup between, I think, both these teams here.
It really is. And when you take a look at what each team really needs to do, I would say the keys are going to be the same for both teams. Offensively, it's going to be coming down to execution. They have to execute those their big plays and create some type of a sustained drive. Defensively, they both have to set the perimeter and put some pressure in the offensive backfield. And then, of course, as a good friend of mine, Wayne Ramey, would say, the most telling key to any game is if you have the most points at the end of the game, you win.
Well, they're out at center field, and Valley has deferred, so they'll kick off to Centennial to start the ball game here. And Centennial will get the ball first to start out the ball game.
Now, in years past, when Valley Ankeny would play, and now Valley Centennial, Centennial is such a fast team overall, as we've said. They also are a quick-hitting offense. Don't be surprised to see a couple of big plays right away by Centennial until Valley can settle in to get a read on the overall speed that Centennial is going to be having.
So we're about ready to go here on a beautiful night for football at West Des Moines Valley Stadium. And we're getting set for the kickoff. And just about ready to get underway here.
Cole Hahn is out to the 40-yard line where he is going to be teeing up the football. Cole Hahn has had a great year. Senior kicker who has really came in as a freshman already with a very strong leg. And I was talking to Jamie Cole, who works the special teams for Centennial, and does a great job with kickers all over the country, for that matter. And he's extremely impressed with what Cole Hahn has become as far as a kicker, both kickoff and extra point PATs.
So here's the kickoff. It's going deep and through the end zone. It'll be a touchback for Centennial. They will take over 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line.
Opportunity here to see Valley's defense right away against that very potent Centennial offense.
We switched out cords or something.
So for Centennial, it'll be Chance Gibbons at quarterback for Centennial. They come out in their white away uniforms with the gray helmets. They'll send 4 receivers to the left. And there's a handoff up the middle. Got some room up to the 30, and he's knocked down at the 30-yard line.
One of the things that Valley's defense is going to have to do is they came out in that bunch set right away and had another receiver further to the outside, so they had quads to the left, and the furthest receiver was on the line of scrimmage, just like the center receiver was for in that bunch set. So when you take a look at that offense, you know that if those inside guys or the guys that were on the line of scrimmage go downfield, it's going to be a run, so you can get a very good pre-snap read.
Well, they come out again. There's a fake to the middle back and handoff to the second back through Jensen Gates, and he's knocked down after pickup of a couple. And it'll be 2nd and 8.
Nice job by Joe Wellman as he came off the edge there and was able to get a stop, get him bottled up into the backfield. And then as he was wrapping up, the Jaguar running back was able to fall forward.
So that brings up, they're going to only give him 1. That'll bring up 2nd and 9 at the 31-yard line for Centennial on the opening drive. Slots to each side, dropping back, looking, throws out to the left side and can't bring it in out there is Gerald Sama. And he would have had a first down if you bring that in. They'll bring up the 3rd and long for Centennial.
Noah Barr out there on the coverage. Did a great job. The route was very good as wide receiver for Centennial was able to break off to the outside. The throw was just a little bit wide.
So big 3rd down play here early in the ball game. 10:46 to go. Clock stop. Centennial comes up. 2 receivers on each side. A single back in there behind Chance Gibbons, the quarterback. Drops back, looking. He's under pressure. And he's safe. At the 22. Ripped down. Was that Nava?
Sam Rogers broke into the backfield coming off the edge there. And I mean, he was there quick. Outstanding opening defensive set for Valley against that very potent Centennial offense.
So they lose 6 on the sack, and that'll bring up a 4th and 18. Here's the snap. High punt. Coming down, and no fair catch, and Hinkle got hammered down there.
He did, but you know, we've said several times, you talk about a punt returner, you just got to have nerves of steel. And on that particular play, Centennial was downfield as fast as any team Valley has played, so another show as to just how quick Valley is going to have to be responding to that Centennial speed.
So here comes Valley with their first offensive series. And Lombardi hands it off, and over the right side goes Javon Mason. and gets a big pickup on first down of about 8 yards.
How about that push up front by Valley's offensive line? They did a great job of it.
That's the only microphone right here.
Containing the line of scrimmage, and Javon Wilson was able to find a hole as he broke to the outside.
All right, I'm going to help you out here. So the only thing that's working right now is
that microphone?
Is that microphone. So you got to talk into the iPad right now.
Okay.
And we'll figure this out. We'll get it. Stay with us, everybody. Just a little patience.
2nd and 2 for Valley. Into Centennial territory. Lombardi's going to take it himself over the right side, down across the 40 to the 35, and first down for the Tigers at the Centennial 35.
One of the things that we talk about with a running back or a running quarterback, they used to always say, you've got to lower your head and get into that, but he did an outstanding job putting his shoulder down and getting a great finish on that run.
So 1st and 10 for the Tigers here on their first possession after forcing the punt from Centennial. Lombardi sends trips to the left. Hinkle, sole receiver to the right. Comes down the line. He'll cut it up himself and gets hammered at the 35 and knocked down there quickly by Ben Heimer. Number 9 brought him down for no gain. 2nd and 10.
Heimer, 6'3", 235 senior, certainly filled that gap well.
So Valley looks to the sideline to get the play. They'll come out with 2 receivers to each side. Javon Mason, the single back for Lombardi. Mason goes in motion to the right. They look to fake the swing pass to him, and they cuts it up inside. He's upended there. On the tackle, Spencer Hilbert, the linebacker. Reacted very quickly on that and knocked the Lombardi down before he could get many yards.
That's right, and you know, as tall as Lombardi is, it actually looked like he was upended a lot more than he actually was.
That brings up 3rd and 9. Ball just about the 33-yard line of Centennial. Valley in their first possession. Lombardi drops back, looks over to his left, picked off at the 30, 35, 40. And picked off there by
Dominic
Strong picked it off.
That was a play where I think Rocky was sitting back in the pocket and he was looking, had 2 receivers, and just had a misthrow that went right in between him to Dominic Strong.
A little similar we saw that last week on their first possession. He got picked off by Lewis Central.
Yes.
And so Centennial takes over for the second time at the 41-yard line. Dropping back, looking to pass under pressure. Scrambles out of it up to the 45. And he'll get a few yards out of that, and gets up to the 46-yard line. Pick up of about 5 on that, or 4. Brings up 2nd down and 5. We'll call it a pickup of 5. Here comes Centennial. The handoff goes across, has the tight end, and he can't handle it there. Hit him right in the hands. Ben Breeding, the big 6'5", 200-pound tight end. And that was a big drop for Centennial.
A huge drop, and that's what Centennial does such a great job of. They keep people looking into the offensive backfield trying to find that ball. And if they're trying to find the ball, one guy just slowly moves out and usually is sitting there wide open.
So 3rd and 5 for Centennial at their own 46-yard line. Trying to keep this drive alive. They went 3 and out on the first drive. Dropping back, looking, fakes. Now throws it over the left side, down the sideline, diving, leaping, and he couldn't come up with it. On the far side, incomplete. Had a man out there. He had a step on the defense, but the pass just a little long. He stretched out, made a good effort at it, Keith.
Boy, I tell you what, when you're in a situation like this, your nerves are up. You're so excited. But there might have been a little adrenaline on that pass, and the touch just did not get there. So with that, it might be a situation where, as they settle in, that pass becomes complete later on.
Here's the punt, a good high punt. Drives Hinkle back, and this time he'll fair catch it at the 14.
Let it not be said that Mr. Hinkle cannot become educated from one play to the next.
Yeah, if they're right on you and you're going to catch it without the fair catch, you're going to take your punishment. So that time, he called the fair catch and was able to get it at the 14-yard line. So this game starting out just how we figured it might. A little bit of a defensive battle here early. Each team has had a couple of passes that maybe the interception by Valley, that last pass by Centennial, if it's a little better thrown, might be the first down. Here comes Rocky Lombardi. Two receivers to the right, one to the left. Hands off to Mason, the tailback, looking to cut it outside, trying to turn the corner. He gets around there and up across the 20 and spun down. There after a pickup of about 5.
That is an outstanding effort by Javon Mason. He's not known for his overall speed. He's known for his quickness when he makes moves and can usually scatter past people. But in that case, he outran a few of those Centennial defensive players.
2nd and 4 for the Tigers. High snap, but Lombardi handles and gets it to Mason, and Mason's probably thinking he wish he didn't because the center of that Centennial line was right there to stuff him in the hole.
Boy, that was one of those plays where everybody's kind of holding their breath, especially on the Centennial side. Spencer Hilbert, the linebacker for Centennial, was in the backfield, and another Centennial defender was all over Mason, spun him back around, and actually rolled up on Hilbert's knee. So it's good to see him back up on his feet, ready to go.
The mark at 3rd and 5. Lombardi drops back, looks to his right, lobs it out there. There's a man just over his outstretched hands. Out there was Tariq Brown.
And an unfortunate deal. Tariq Brown wide open on that play. You can see sometimes receivers will be downfield and they're thinking they're running far enough that they actually start slowing down and they miss their stride. And like I said, I don't know if I've seen any of our receivers ever outrun Rocky's arm.
Yeah, that's one where you got to keep running and just trusting him. He'll throw it out there a long ways. So here's the punt, high punt, and fair catch called for and caught at the 46 there by Sama for Centennial.
Nice job by Nate Murphy on that punt. Bo Lombardi, the snapper. Bo usually very accurate when it comes to the snap. One of the things that they've been working on all week is making sure that they can get the snap back and the punt away, understanding that the defensive rush by Centennial is going to be coming fast.
So no score here, 5:09 to play in the first quarter. It's been a back and forth game here with Centennial now. Man in motion. Reverse, make a handoff to him, to come back the other way with it, and cutting up is Pinniger. As they faked it to Jensen Gates and give it to Pinniger, coming back right, and Pinniger gets some good yardage there. They'll put him down inside Valley territory at the 47, 2nd and 3.
Sam Rogers did a great job for Valley's defense. He started out on the right side of the line, and he was able to pull all the way down the defensive line to get the reverse, Pinniger coming around the edge.
They send Van Gali and Sama out wide to the left and put in motion, fakes the handoff and keeps it himself up the middle, the quarterback, Chance Gibbons, and I think he's very close to the first down. We'll see. They might have to measure that.
Yeah, they're calling him short. It's going to be very interesting to see how this game unfolds. One of these teams is going to have to put together an offensive drive that gives their defense enough rest to kind of get back in. Both defenses have been on and off the field a lot.
Third and about a football length to the first down. Under center is Gibbons, and plowed up the middle. And I think he's got enough for the first down.
It sure looked like it. He got a great initial push, and then Valley's defense shoved him back across the line. Number 61 for Centennial, Ryan Brennicke, came up hobbling just a little bit there, but great job up front by Centennial as they get that push.
So it'll be 1st and 10 at the 44 of Valley for Centennial. No score here, 3:35 and counting down in the first quarter. Round 2 of the playoffs. Winner advances to the Unidome in the semifinals. And here we go. Man in motion again. He keeps it and rolls over to the left side and up across the 40. Chance Gibbons. So they're doing a lot of misdirection inside there, Keith.
They are, and that's what they do so well at. You know, they practice the same offense all the way from their junior high and their little kid program all the way up into the varsity. And so when they have an opportunity to get a practice in, it looks like they have a lot of different plays that they run, but they really don't. It's the same play out of a different set, and all that motion just absolutely plays havoc with defenses.
So here's Chance Gibbons. Jensen Gates is the slot on the left side. Fakes it to the deep back, and then he's going to be hit in the backfield and dropped for a loss. That time, the defender just came straight upfield. There was no need to follow any misdirection there because he went straight to the quarterback.
He went straight to the quarterback, but Dal Ngaba, the first time we've called his name for a huge defensive play, but yeah, he was in there. He's been double teamed and triple teamed so far. Now it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the defensive line progresses here, because it's going to start right there as to whether or not they stop Centennial's offense.
They take a loss on the play. It'll be 3rd and 9. 2 receivers to the left, a slot to the left. Single back in there, rolling to his left, looking. Now he throws back the other way. Have a screen set up there for the tight end. He's got some blockers, 35-30, and gets it up across for a first down. Ben Breeding. So they set all the receivers out left and then ran that little screen back for the tight end.
They did, and it's not your typical screen. A lot of screens come in the middle, and so you can kind of get a feel for how the offensive line is moving. If you can get past the offensive line and you're moving upfield quite a bit easily, there's a reason for it. The play's going to be right behind you. But on that outside screen to the back side, when everybody's been going to the left and you throw back to the right, that is a very tough thing to read.
So for Centennial, 1st and 10 at the Valley 28-yard line. No score here, 1:31 to play and counting in the first quarter. Centennial, the deepest penetration either team has had here on offense. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Snap low, and he fakes it and then throws it across and hits the tight end again. It's Ben Breeding coming off the left side there and hits him right across the middle this time. And that time they mixed it up. They had the motion in the backfield and then hit that tight end coming out.
You know, Ben is a pretty big boy, 6'5", 200 pounds, sophomore. He's a good target.
So here's the. It'll be a second down, or first down and 10 at the 17-yard line for Centennial. Gibbons, the quarterback, sends a man in motion across the formation, gives it a second man through, coming back the other side, and he gets through the line up close to the first down. And they sent a man left and then brought another guy back right, and he gets close to the first down. Are they going to call it? I think they are. They're going to call it 1st and goal on the pickup down to the 7-yard line.
Again, what they did was they brought the receiver out to the right side, and he covered up the tight end. If the defensive backs and the linebackers can get a read on what that tight end is doing when he's covered up, you got a great pre-snap read as to whether or not it's going to be a run or not.
They got a slot to each side. Jensen Gates the back of the backfield. Slot comes in motion. Left side take the handoff. Quarterback keeps it up the middle. Drives down inside the 5 to the 4. Pick up about 3. As that could be the last play here of the first quarter.
You know, the last few weeks, the first quarter seems to have drug on for 9 hours, and that was about just 12 minutes.
This has gone very, very quickly, and they've attempted a couple passes, and they've been complete, so the clock has kept moving. So at the end of one, no score. Here, Valley and Centennial will take a break and come back with the second quarter after this.
Do I look for the seal? It's about trust. Whether I'm buying a car, hiring a contractor, finding a tax preparer, or an honest mechanic, the Better Business Bureau seal means this business meets high standards. When I see the seal, I know I'll get what I pay for. No more taking chances and no more worries. And I feel good about supporting local businesses. My life is so much easier knowing I can always trust BBB accredited businesses. It pays to look for the seal. See for yourself at bbb.org/Iowa. Why do I look for the seal? It's about trust. Whether I'm buying a car, hiring a contractor, finding a tax preparer, or an honest mechanic, the Better Business Bureau seal means...
At Mid-American Energy, part of putting power in your hands is helping to keep families safe. That's why Mid-American provides free educational safety programs to schools, asks you to call 811 before you dig, have annual furnace inspections, and be aware of hazards at home. Mid-American Energy safely delivers electricity and natural gas to us in good times and stormy ones. That's Mid-American Energy.
Okay, what's the code?
Thank you. Now we talk about the Muscular Dystrophy Association through technical clubs. Where's the meeting? And the next return from Blake Robinson is good.
So Centennial scores, and from 4 yards out. We lost power there for a second, but Centennial scored from 4 yards out, and they get on the board first with 11:53 to go here. The PAT is good, and it's 7-0 Centennial. And just a straight running play there, Keith. They took it outside and got to the end zone.
Yes, one of the things that Coach Swenson has been talking about all week is you have got to get and you got to set that edge to the point where they just can't run wider than you. Valley's defense did not set it. Centennial was able to run right past them.
So here comes Centennial to kick off now to Valley. As Valley trailing here, Centennial on the board first. Here's the kick. It's going to go deep and through the end zone. Or a touchback, the Blake Robinson kick. And Valley will take over 1st and 10 on the 20.
One thing that Centennial has had every year is an outstanding kicking game. And so I don't expect to see very many kickoff returns tonight,
Ankeny themselves, the town, even before they split the high schools, have been known as a kicking town. And so Valley, no time to panic here. It's early in the game, and they've been, team used to that, to get behind and come back. And here comes Rocky Lombardi. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Hands on, no, keeps it himself over the left side, trying to turn the corner, does up across the 30 and knocked out around the 35-yard line. Well, they say he stepped out at the 33, so good play by Lombardi to get them going.
A great fake, Rocky, over the course of his career here, has really shown that he is becoming a pretty fast runner.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Tigers as they get the ball up to about the 35, well, they'll mark it at 33, I guess, where they marked it. Here's Lombardi. Rolls down the line, hands it off to Mason. Mason looks to cut it up the hash. He does across the 40 into the 47-yard line. Just shy of a first down.
Nice job by Valley. Coach Swenson is calling a pretty good game here as far as getting his guys that are going to show some speed to the outside, just coming a little bit off tackle to try and disrupt that defensive line pass rush and overall rush of Centennial's D-line.
So 2nd and 1, there's a quick pass out to Hinkle. He catches it up at the 45 and falls ahead to the 46. And he'll get the first down here for the Tigers.
And one thing I'm noticing here, Dar, is Valley is not taking a lot of time in between plays here. The chains are going to get set, and Valley's going to be ready to run their next offensive play.
So they got Brown and Heel to this side, Matney and Hinkle to the far side, with twin receivers to each side. Javon Mason is the back, with Rocky Lombardi in the shotgun. Takes it, fakes it, now throws it out to Hinkle. Hinkle spins around and gets down inside, just inside the 50.
Rocky Lombardi complete to number 2, Austin Hinkle. Tackle number 5, Riley Moss.
We're going to mark him at the 49 of Centennial, 2nd and 5, so good pickup on first down.
Nice little option play is actually what it is. Rocky Lombardi has the option to run that or go ahead and throw that out to Hinkle. The one thing he's got to do is he's got to, of course, get it done before he crosses the line of scrimmage.
Same formation. This time they hand off to Mason. Mason looking to cut it upfield.
Creighton Mitchell.
Oh, Mitchell. Yeah, I was going to say, I thought I saw 7 up there. It was Mitchell, not Mason, on the carry. Well, they got both Mason and Mitchell in there, and now Mitchell will come out, and Matney will come back in, and then Matney and Hinkle will go to the left side. You got Tariq Brown and Braden Heel to the right side. Mason back there, throws it out quickly and hits Brown, and he tiptoes the sidelines. I think he got him up for a first down.
It sure looks like it. He had to get to the 44 to get it. It looked like he marked him out at the 43.
So here comes Valley. 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line of Centennial. 9:39, the clock stopped here in the second quarter. Fake to Mason. Lombardi will keep it himself. Kind of sneaks under a couple of tackles there. For a guy that big, he snuck under a couple tackles, Keith, and got a nice little yardage on first down. 5 yards.
Yeah, the guard and tackle from the far side, the left side, pulled all the way around. And Lombardi followed them right up into the heart of that Centennial defense. And when you say he got lower than those tacklers, it looked like he was shooting a double leg. He might be getting ready for wrestling.
Get in there, yes. Lombardi brings him up, 2nd and 5. Drops back, looking to pass, throws it out into the flat, and it's dropped out there a little low.
But still, Jacob Morris probably wishing he had that play back.
Yep. Look for Jacob Morris out there, and was not an uncatchable ball, but one they had to go down for, and brings up 3rd and 5.
You know, and Jacob Morris is still working hard just to get his own game rhythm back, as he had been gone for most of the season after that breaking his ankle during the Johnston game. Last week was the first time he was back on the field, so getting him back in to see if he can help out with some power game.
Lombardi fakes it. He'll run it up the middle. Has some room down to the 25, 20. Gets a big run there. Drop back, and it was a draw all the way. He had three receivers to each side drop back. Look to his right, and then headed upfield, and a big pickup for Lombardi. Gets him down 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line.
I don't care who you are. He had a gap to begin with and a full head of steam. You got to be kind of a man in your own right to bring somebody down that's charging at you that looks like Rocky Lombardi does.
Well, and just even his little shoulder fake when he went back, you gotta respect that too, that he might throw it downfield. There's a high snap. He gets it to Mason. He plows into the middle there, and did a good job. That's sometimes where you have a fumble where that high snap comes. You try to bring it down and get it into the back.
Well, we saw a week ago where Rocky Lombardi, the snap went through his hands right into Mitchell's hands, and Mitchell ran 40 yards, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, 40 yards for a touchdown. And so I don't know if they're trying to put that play into the playbook or what, but Rocky did manage to handle that.
2nd and 8 at the 18. Snap to Lombardi. Gets it to Mason. Looking for room over the left side, and he's knocked down right at the 20. Shot in there was John Bemmer.
A great job by Centennial's defense. Valley had a wall going. The entire offensive line was moving to the left. They were in front of Mason, and then
Bemmer just shot through there. Yeah, Mason was slowing down to look for the cut outside, and Bemmer shot in there and dropped him. So 3rd and 10 at the 20 here. Centennial leading 7-0 here in the second quarter. 7:25 to play. And Valley looking to get a first down. Snap deep to Lombardi. Rolls to his right under pressure. Thinks about Valley. Now stop, throws back across. It's Mason for the first down inside the 10 down to about the 6-yard line.
Now what were you saying just a little bit ago, Gar, about you got to respect just in case he stops and throws the ball? That's exactly what happened here. He had a huge running lane, but saw Mason and utilized that guy instead of running up there and taking some more shots.
So that'll bring up a 1st and goal at the 5-yard line or the 6-yard line for the Tigers. Under 7 minutes now to play. 2 backs in there now. Drops back, hands it to Mason over the left side, pounding ahead and gets down to about the 1-yard line. Well, they're going to mark it moving back to the 2 where he went down.
Yeah, a great job by Mason. Again, this might be the 4th or 5th week in a row that we have been talking about that change that Mason has made from being one of the guys that is wanting to wait and set up his blocks versus being a power runner. He became a power runner in that Dowling game.
And this is where you want it. When you're down near the goal line, you just want to go straight ahead. Single back formation, hand off to Mason again. This time he gets hit and met in the backfield and drops, maybe loses a little bit of yardage there.
There is where Centennial showed that not only do they have overall great team speed, they also have some power guys in there. The one thing about Centennial teams from as far as I can remember back, it is a situation where each of those guys, it doesn't matter what position they are, it looks like everybody is 6 foot, 200 pounds.
So they brought Jacob Morris out and brought in another receiver, 2 receivers to each side. Lombardi drops back, throws to the end zone, and it's caught about the 1 and stops short at the 2. Hinkle caught it, but could not get momentum into the end zone, and it's 4th down. What do they do here?
Well, I think you're going to see a situation where Coach Swenson is thinking about this. He's thinking, okay, if we get the touchdown here, that's awesome. If we don't get it, it's going to be a long field for Centennial.
So maybe we're going to call a timeout, I think, and talk about it. You think maybe think about the field goal, or do you go defensively we got to back deep?
Statistically speaking, over the several years that I've been around Coach Swenson, I'm guessing there's going to be a field goal.
Well, they called the timeout. We'll see what they do here. 5:03 to play in the first half. 7-0 Centennial Valley. 4th and goal at the 2.
roots are here in the middle of America, where humble beginnings can grow into great opportunities, where hard work and high standards are the key ingredients to success, where honesty and integrity matter. We're proud of our roots, proud to be a part of a community that shares our values, and grateful to our customers for giving us the opportunity to grow.
Fourth and 2. Well, they called the timeout, and the Tigers are going to come out. Looks like they're going to go for it here. Lombardi throws it in the slot, and touchdown, Tigers. People, call it. Like I said, Connor, in all the years that I have known Coach Swenson, we'll go ahead and probably kick this one. Wait a minute, let's rewind the tape and see what you did say on that. So, we have 5 minutes to play in the first half. It's Lombardi Hinkle 2-yard pass. And awaiting the point after by Cole Hahn. And the kick is up and good. We're tied up at 7 apiece here. And let's take a break, and we'll come back with more after this.
Bonus tag savings. Get up to 20% off select new 2017 Silverado 1500s. New Silverado Double Cab LT 4x4, $289 a month. New Spark, $13,999. Up to 20% off select new Silverado HDs, Malibus, and Trax. And up to 25% off select new 16 Chevy Cruises. Save big at Waukee. Schottenkirk Chevrolet on the west end of Hickman, Waukee. It's Chevy.
Weird. That's the recorder. That's external in, so that doesn't. Yeah, there's something here that isn't. Test. 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 Now here we go. We're tied up 7-7. Cole Hahn will kick it off. Sama is back deep, takes it in the end zone. It'll be first and 10 at the 20 for Centennial. So now we'll see how Ankeny Centennial responds here, Keith, with Valley coming back and tying it up. We'll see if they come out and, again, no reason to panic here. Try to get a drive together and run your offense.
That's right. There's plenty of game left, even though these minutes have just been clicking off. Yeah. 5 minutes left to go. We're usually still in the first quarter in the games past. So, plenty of game left. And, again, Centennial has the tight end covered up, so it's either going to be in the backfield.
Oh, that was almost picked off the other way. They sent that bunch formation that trips to the right and then one wide, and they threw it out there. And Noah Barr almost snuck through and got an interception for a touchdown there.
Well, one of the things that, again, what you're looking at as a defensive back, you're trying to figure out if it is a situation where the tight end is covered. If the tight end is covered and he moves across the line of scrimmage, the play either has to be a pass in the backfield or it's going to be a run. And when the quarterback set up to throw it, you knew it was going backward because the tight end went downfield.
Second and 10 at the 20. Fake the handoff, throws it across the middle, has a man! Did he come down with it? Yes! Sama out there, catches it at the 48-yard line. So, a long toss by Centennial. Chance Gibbons to Sama, and it's a first down for Centennial. Here's Centennial, first and 10 at the 48-yard line. Slot comes in motion, fake the handoff, give it to the second back through, across the 50, down to the 46-yard line is Gates.
And you really got to credit the Centennial offensive line. They got a great push up front against a very stout Valley defensive line.
Double slots for Gibbons. Slot comes in motion, fakes it, gives it to Gates again. Gates keeps his balance, and he may got the first down as he got tripped up about the line of scrimmage, but put the hand down and kept that balance and got close to the first down. Let's see if they give it to him. They are. They're going to move the sticks here.
Brendan Rowe did a nice job for Valley coming up to initiate that first contact. The problem is when he was a little bit off balance, and when the running back was able to cut back inside, he slid down the leg and held on. Ended up making that tackle.
Well, I think we've had a little sound problems, but we got that straightened out here. Paul Yeager,
as far as we know.
As far as we know.
I think I'm the jinx.
Yeah, here comes Gibbons. Receiver to each side, slot in motion, hands off to Gates, cuts it up the middle, gets some good yardage down to the 38-yard line. And misdirection again, they pick up 4 on first down. So when you can get 4 and 5 on first down, that gives you a lot of options then on second and third, doesn't it?
It really does, especially when they have such overall great team speed. And again, everybody that's here and anybody that's going to be able to watch us again when the video comes out, it's going to be a situation where you're just waiting and waiting and waiting for Centennial just throwing over the top again.
Gibbons drops back, looks, throws it out wide, has a man coming back inside for it, caught it, and that's Sama, his favorite receiver, down to the 27-yard line. Another first down for Centennial. 2:46 to play. The clock stopped on the first down. 7-7 tie here in the first half. But Centennial driving after taking it from their own 20 after the kick went into the end zone and trying to answer the Valley touchdown.
And both squads right now trying to get a feel for how this drive is going to go. Valley defensive backs are giving some space up front. And so it's a unique deal. But both guys are on the line of scrimmage up front.
Trips to the right, slot in motion. He gives it to the up back, and he slams ahead Sam Snyder and gets a couple. So that time they showed that trips formation, and then still a little motion in the backfield. They bring the slot through and then the second man through. And they pick up, well, they're going to mark him just 2, so 2nd and 8 here, coming up on 2 minutes to play in the first half. 7-7 ball game.
And over the years, Jerry Pizzetti, no stranger to blowouts, no stranger to tight ball games. And both he and Coach Swenson, when it's a situation like this, they usually stay pretty calm, knowing that eventually something's going to give.
Play clock ran down, so they're going to take a timeout, I believe, because it was down to about 3, and they looked over and they took a timeout. So we'll take a break and come back with more after this.
Business meets high standards. When I see the seal, I know I'll get what I pay for. No more taking chances and no more worries. And I feel good about supporting local businesses. My life is so much easier knowing I can always trust BBB accredited businesses. It pays to look for the seal. See for yourself at bbb.org/Iowa.
At Mid-American Energy, part of putting power in your hands is helping to keep families safe. That's why Mid-American provides free educational safety programs to schools, asks you to call 811 before you dig, have annual furnace inspections, and be aware of hazards at home. Mid-American Energy safely delivers electricity and natural gas to us in good times and stormy ones. That's Mid-American Energy.
Here we go, a minute 40 to play in the first half. Centennial is driven down to the 24 of Valley. Trying to answer, Valley just scored. Touchback, and now Centennial with the ball. Slot comes in motion. Handoff fake, and the quarterback keeps over the right side, and he gets down inside the 20. So a good second down pickup. They're going to have third and manageable play here, Keith.
Very manageable. The offensive scheme by Centennial is really amazing. They're executing very well. when it comes to all those different people in motion. And so Valley, they're going to have to settle in and just make sure they find the ball. Linebackers got to stay at home. The D-line is going to have to put the pressure on.
Valley fans kind of getting on their feet clapping here, looking for a hold on 3rd and 3. They'll send 2 receivers to the left, the slot to the left, and the single back to the backfield. Slot comes across in motion. They give it to the back. He's to the left side, going to break free. Touchdown! From 19 yards out.
Jensen Gates
took it, and he quickly got to that speed you were talking about, Keith. He quickly got to the left side and got the touchdown from 19 yards away.
And again, we're going to go back to what we said at the beginning of the game. Valley, if Valley's going to stay successful, their defense has got to set that edge.
49.2 seconds to play, a 19-yard run by Jensen Gates, his 2nd touchdown of the game, and the extra point is good. And it's 14-7 Centennial over Valley here. Blake Robinson hits the PAT. That makes him now 51 out of 53, or 53 on the season. And it's a 14-7 lead here. 49.2 seconds to play. Chances are they're going to get through the end zone, and you take it at the 20. Expect Valley to come out and take some shots here down the field?
Well, I think it's going to be a situation with what do they get on first down.
You take that first play, see how many you get.
That's right.
And then if you do, you quickly get up and run.
But you got to think, where are you going to go, though? Because Mason has not been as effective as you like, and you're going to run Rocky up the middle. You do have a timeout to work with, so you can use the middle of the field. Something to think. Both these teams have 2 timeouts.
Mason and Mitchell back deep to receive the kick. And here comes a short kick. It's going to bounce and is going to go out of bounds.
That changes everything.
Yeah. I think they were trying to keep it away from the backs, but he just a little bit too far to the left, and that's a big play, because that goes out of bounds, and then you bring it up and you get good starting position. Up
35, right?
35
yard line.
So that was probably the worst thing you want to have happen. No time goes off the clock, it goes out of bounds.
I think you're right, Keith. It is this first play, but now the first play isn't as important. You got a ton of time, especially with 2 timeouts and a pretty high potent offense.
Absolutely, and 15 yards ahead of where you thought you would be.
Right.
So it'll be 1st and 10 at their own 35 for the Tigers.
You think Hinkle on a slant again?
Bo Lombardi is in there.
I don't think that'll be open.
Mason's in there. Bo Lombardi's in there. The 2 receivers right, 1 left for Lombardi. He drops back. Looking, throws it out. And it's dropped by Bo Lombardi.
There might be a discussion about that later on.
It's only the 3rd incompletion Rocky's had in this half.
So he's...
And one of those incompletions was intercepted, so it's really only 2.
Okay, then that's 4, because I didn't mark the interception.
So he'll have Hinkle wide to the left, 2 receivers to the right. Bo Lombardi in the slot on the right, Mason the back. Hand off to Mason, looks for room, cuts it outside across the 40, 45, 50, 45, 40, knocked out of bounds at the 38-yard line. A big run by Javon Mason. Still 37.6 seconds to play. Not much time taken off the clock on that play on a running play.
And Valley's offensive line, they had a bigger gap over on the right side where they attacked, so they spread the defense out further. Sometimes when you tighten those gaps down, the defense has quite an advantage because they can cover further outside. They spread them out.
Take Bo Lombardi out. They'll go with their 2 receivers to each side set. With Mason, the single back for Lombardi. He drops back, looks up to his right, looking. Now he rolls left, spins back right, throws back across to Hinkle at the 36-yard line. He's knocked out of bounds quickly, so pickup of about 3. Still, that only took about 7 seconds off the clock, so they're still in pretty good shape here, clock-wise, with 29.5 to play in the first half.
And they have this young man by the name of Cole Hahn that's kind of warming up on the sideline here that it's not going to be long that maybe they're already in field goal range.
If you don't get another yard, you're at 53-yard field goal. So that's a lot to ask of Cole Hahn.
2nd and 8 at the 36. Same formation. They threw it out to Brown. He didn't even look back for that as he was going up the right side. And he was going deep and didn't even look back when the pass was thrown. So that goes incomplete to bring up 3rd and 8. So a little miscommunication on the route there. I think Lombardi was looking for maybe a back shoulder throw.
Yeah. And one thing I just noticed here, number 22, John Mahoney, is actually standing on the sideline on crutches with some ice on his leg. So that's maybe something that's going on in the Valley's defensive backfield.
Matney and Brown to the right side, Hinkle wide to the left, Slot on the right, hand off to Mason. Tries to cut over the right side, nothing doing there. He's knocked out of bounds.
He might have lost a yard.
I think he did. So bring up 4th and 9, back at the 30. Where are they going to mark that? 37?
38.
So lost 2 yards on that. Back at the original line of scrimmage, it'll be 4th and 10. Let's see what they do here. Jacob Morris is.
Well, you got to think now, all of a sudden, guys, if you don't get this first down, yeah, you got to take a timeout here, because if you don't get that first down, all of a sudden you have a short field and 2 timeouts for Centennial in 20 seconds.
Yeah, they've shown they can
show
it
her
too.
Yeah. Now, seeing as how I've known Coach Swenson as long as I have.
One of those great predictions coming again, Doc?
I predicted the field goal. Yeah, and they went for it and got a touchdown.
So a field goal isn't a bad option here. As Paul has done his math, we're probably looking at a 55.
And the ball goes to the 20 on a missed field goal, right?
As long as it crosses the goal line.
It has to get to the goal line. And Cole Hahn, that should not be a problem.
Shouldn't be.
So you then play the field position game of moving it up 18 yards. But you have to take the chance that you could get it blocked.
Cole Hahn's longest this year is 52.
The takeoff is going to be a lower trajectory
to save the momentum to get it through.
Yeah.
So you have a block, and then that pushes your 20-yard possession change.
I don't see Cole Hahn out there.
Dar Danielson, Paul Yeager, Keith Bornas here. 21.9 seconds to play in the first half. Centennial leading 14-7. 4th and 10 Valley at the Centennial 38. Trips to the left, single receiver to the right for Lombardi. Drops back, looks straight right. It's Hinkle. He can't bring it in. Hinkle made a good try at it. It was a little high and heading toward the sidelines. And it's going to go over to Centennial. They'll get 1st and 10 at their own 38-yard line. So 17.6 seconds to play. They have 2 timeouts left.
And they have more guys on their team that can run 100 meters in less than 17 seconds. So that's actually not a very fast 100.
But you got to get them the ball.
Right.
Yeah.
So Valley's got to get something interior pressure-wise to not allow. But I don't think if you're Centennial, you're not forced to pass it right now. You could run a nice play.
One play. They got to get out of here, though. The play clock down to 9, and now they're coming out. They're going to send 3 receivers left, 1 right for Gibbons. Snaps it with 1 second to play. Looks right across. Hits Pinniger out there, I believe. Across the first down marker to the 50. That'll stop the clock, and they get up and get set. 11.3 to play.
I'm not sure if we all saw what was set up there, but that was a hitch and pitch coming.
I thought so, too.
And they they converged on it so fast that they did not get the pitch out.
So Centennial calls a timeout.
Who was that thrown at, Dar?
It was to Pinniger.
To Pinniger, okay.
Jake Pinniger. And
it was either Sama or Gates that was still running downfield waiting for the pitch.
And you noticed Pinniger had to do everything he could to hold that ball. Now that's one Pinniger. There is a second Pinniger, but he's standing on the sidelines with a broken foot.
Yeah,
he broke it in practice about 3 weeks ago.
I was talking to Keith, and I saw him in that Johnson game in the season opener, and he did a little bit of everything. They even brought him in, and he in one game kicked a 50-yard field goal, and so they were able to overcome the loss of him, though.
5th grade lore on Ankeny South Side is that he kicked the ball 52 yards as a 5th grader, the soccer ball, at field day.
So here comes Centennial. They'll come out with 2 receivers to each side for Gibbons. Drops straight back, looking, under pressure, avoids the pressure. Now he'll run it up the field, cuts it across the 50 to the 45, spins around. That took a lot of time. He goes down. The clock's still running. They call a timeout with 0.8 seconds to go. So that time he scrambled. And did you see who got in there on that first pressure? Did you see who that was?
Well, he stepped in front of Naba.
Was it Naba?
Naba was coming right up the middle, and he was able to make a move and it went into that hole where the play was. Thank you. Sorry to be annoying everybody.
Well, then one thing about Gibbons, he still looks upfield, but then he could decide, I think, because I think he knew the clock was running. Do you throw it or do you run? And then he decided to run, and then the defense converged on him, and that took up all the time. So now we got to look at a throw to the end zone here to end the game and see what happens.
Well, go ahead, Keith.
Well, sometimes you also need to think about what do we really need here, because a lot of times when you start getting greedy with this kind of time, this is where the pick sixes sometimes happen.
You're right there. That can happen where they take it the other way. So trips to the left, one receiver to the right. Dropping straight back, looking, rolls out of trouble. He's going to run it himself up the sideline. A lot of room, but the clock's going to run down unless you break a couple tackles and they push him out of bounds about the 20-yard line. So that is the way the first half will end. Centennial 14, Valley 7. We'll take a break and come back with more after this.
Our roots are here in the middle of America, where humble beginnings can grow into great opportunities. Where hard work and high standards are the key ingredients to success. Where honesty and integrity matter. We're proud of our roots. Proud to be a part of a community that shares our values, and grateful to our customers for giving us the opportunity to grow.
And with bonus tag savings, get up to 20% off select new 2017 Silverado 1500s. New Silverado Double Cab LT 4x4, $289 a month. New Spark, $13,999. Up to 20% off select new Silverado HDs, Malibus, and Trax. And up to 25% off select new 16 Chevy Cruises. Save big at Waukee. Schottenkirk Chevrolet on the west end of Hickman, Waukee.
Why do I look for the seal? It's about trust. Whether I'm buying a car, hiring a contractor, finding a tax preparer, or an honest mechanic, the Better Business Bureau seal means this business meets high standards. When I see the seal, I know I'll get what I pay for. No more taking chances and no more worries. And I feel good about supporting local businesses. My life is so much easier knowing I can always trust BBB accredited businesses. It pays to look for the seal. See for yourself at bbb.org.
We're at halftime here, and it's Centennial 14, Valley 7. Darty Danielson with you. Let's run down the scoring. It's 11:53 to play. Jensen Gates took it over from 4 yards out for Ankeny Centennial to get them on the board first. That was in the second quarter. The PAT was good, and it was 7-0. For West Des Moines Valley, they came back, and Lombardi hit Hinkle on a 4th down play from 2 yards out, and the PAT was good, and it was 7-7. Ankeny Centennial took the kickoff from the 20, drove it all the way down, and then Jensen Gates scored from 9 yards out and with 49.2 seconds to play, and the PAT was good, and it was 14-7 Centennial. Valley came down, attempted to go on a 4th and 10 play, turned it over to Centennial at the 38. Centennial had a couple plays, ended up being a scramble, and Chance Gibbons knocked out at the 20-yard line, and that's where the first half ended. Paul, you have some stats. We'll talk to you about those first. What did you see there?
Let me get these in here. Gates 4. Centennial has 9 carries for 61 yards. Jake Pinniger 2 carries for 15. Chance Gibbons from the quarterback position, 8 carries, 35 yards. He's 4 of 8 passing for 66 yards. For Valley, Javon Mason, 8 carries, 51 yards. Rocky Lombardi, 6 carries for 44. And Rocky is 6 of 11 passing for 35 yards and 1 interception. And that is how we have our first half statistics unofficial. 14-7, Centennial leads.
Okay, and joining us here at halftime is our guest, Rick Rowe, right? And you're the father of Brendan,
yep,
who plays linebacker here for Valley. And what's this? I know a little bit about what it's like to be a parent to sit in the stands, but talk a little bit about that. And you're watching this game and seeing your son out there. What's it like?
Butterflies before the game, and it's absolutely. I'm sitting here shaking. Just going through this first half. A couple of great football programs. We expected it to be a hard-fought game. As you look back, there was only one penalty. It was a kickoff that went out of bounds for Ankeny Centennial. So a very clean game, a couple of great programs, and hard-fought game, and hopefully Valley will make some adjustments and will come out hard in the second half.
How do you think? I mean, these guys have gone through with a perfect season, and then and some of those games, granted, that haven't been as competitive, and then sometimes that can hurt you a little bit, and you know how kids are. Sometimes they get to thinking, oh boy, this is all easy, and you just step out there. But it looks like tonight, though, they both teams have come to play, and they know this is the playoffs, and this is the time when you win or go home. Huh?
Sure, yeah, they know what's at stake. For Valley, we haven't had a close game since the Dowling game, the third game in the season. So we have some players, as an example, the linebackers, they do a lot of replacements, and a lot of the linebackers haven't played much more than a first half since that Dowling game. So, we have some positions that could have a little bit of, stamina issues where, they're coming out, they're going to play a full 4 quarters, and when we haven't done that for a while, that'll be a little bit of a disadvantage for us.
And some of that is reading, too, because as the game goes on, you get your keys and you read that stuff, too, and especially a linebacker, that's reaction and stuff, and when you're only playing a half, that's a little tough sometimes, too, isn't it?
Yeah, that hurts you, but we've got a great coaching staff, and I'm sure they're in there pointing out the things to the players that they need to know to adjust in the second half.
Now, I understand you're a firefighter, is that right?
I am. I'm the fire chief in Clive.
Yep. Let's talk a little bit about what has happened this past week with the 2 officers killed. I know both teams are wearing stickers to honor them. I was at a planning meeting today with Des Moines PD and Urbandale talking about the funerals that are going to take place on Monday and Tuesday, and somebody asked the Urbandale PIO, he said, well, how many people in the department are they all going to the funeral? I said, yeah, all 50 of us are going. And she said, well, who's covering the? He goes, well, West Des Moines is going to do it for us. The Iowa State Patrol, all the other departments and that. And that's kind of you guys all work together and cover those things, whether it be fire or police and all that. It's kind of a brotherhood all around, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great sense of brotherhood. Everybody's there looking out for everybody else's back, and following a tragic incident like that, all the neighbors want to do is come to the aid of Urbandale and Des Moines and let them do what they need to do, and they can rest assured that people have their back and will be covering their communities for them during these events.
Because I know it's when you're going out to cover a fire or something like that, there's a worry about that, and but I know you guys, you're trained and you go out and you do what you're trained to do, and all that training helps pay off with that kind of stuff too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I listened to the audio from the night of that event, and kudos to the Westcom dispatchers, the Des Moines dispatchers, all of the responding officers. They stayed professional. They knew what was at stake. They knew what needed to be done, and that's difficult for them because then they take that home and they have to process that, and that's not easy. And when they do that day in and day out, that gets difficult for them. So we all need to take time and thank them for what they do, and the outshowing of support for Urbandale and Des Moines nationwide has just been amazing.
Yeah, they were talking today. They expect probably 1,000 vehicles at the funeral, and officers from all over the country. And one of the things I always think is cool is you guys in the fire department get those ladder trucks up there with the flag, and you make the tunnel for the procession to go under, and then you see the firefighters on the bridges, the overpasses, and that's just something you guys do, and it's a show of respect, and it's really cool that you guys do that.
Yeah, for Sergeant Beminio's service that's going to happen in Des Moines, there's going to be quite a showing or quite a memorial of the overpasses on 235 going from 74th Street in West Des Moines to 63rd Street in Des Moines. as he passes from the funeral services to Glendale Cemetery.
Do you guys have regular honor guards that do things like that, or is it just we all, you all get together and who's going to do this and that and work together on that kind of thing?
This is Polk County Emergency Management is doing a lot of coordination effort on that, and we're very appreciative of that. For honor guards, there's various police departments and fire departments that have honor guards, and they'll do things like when the officers, as they've been with the medical examiner the first couple of days, police officers stood guard with them around the clock the entire time they were there.
That's cool. Well, that's a sad thing in the community. I know the communities will pull together and get through this. And one of these kind of things is, though, when the community gathers for a sporting event, I know there's two teams here and they're out there hitting each other, but there's also a camaraderie. And when the game's over, I know that teams in Central Iowa will probably be rooting for whoever who goes to the Dome, whether they face another team from Eastern Iowa. And that's all part of it, too. The sports gives you kind of a little bit of a relief and away from that kind of stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's healthy competition, a lot of respect, and a lot of community shown here tonight with what they've done to honor the police officers.
Well, we appreciate you joining us. I guess you score some more in the second half. Hard to slow down that Centennial speed, isn't it?
Yeah, their offense is very elusive. They do that triple option, and it's difficult to read. But we get a little more pressure up front. We got an awesome defensive line, and we'll put the hammer to them, and it'll be a good second half.
And what happens when your son comes home? Do you kind of talk about the game, or do you let him, kind of do that? You talk about the next day, or how does that work with you guys? I know my son used to, sometimes right after the game, if it was lost, especially, they didn't want to talk about it, or they come home, but how do you guys work that out?
Usually he'll hang out with his buddies after the game a while, and then the next morning, get plugged for CISN TV. We'll watch the game 2 or 3 times and fast forward and reverse and see all the good stuff. You miss a lot when you're in the stands, and when you get to watch it on TV, you see a lot more. So we'll kind of dissect the game at that point, and we'll ask him to share what Coach Swenson shared at halftime and after the game, and get those kind of insights. So it's very interesting. All the parents, we couldn't be more proud. They've had a great year. They're fighters, and like I said, we're just looking to a good second half, and hopefully Valley can pull it out.
All right, we appreciate you joining us here, and hopefully things don't have to get too tense for you, but I got a feeling this game might be that way right to the end.
I think it's going to be down the end. That's the way the Dowling game was. Again, 2 great teams, and we were lucky enough that we pulled it out right at the end, and hopefully we'll do something similar today.
Okay, Rick Rowe, thanks for joining us here at halftime. We are at halftime. It's 14-7 Centennial, and let's run down the scoring once again from the first half for you. Ankeny Centennial got on the board first with 11:53 to go in the second quarter. Jensen Gates with a 4-yard run. The PAT was good, and it was 7-0 Centennial. West Des Moines Valley answered with 5 minutes to play here in the first half. It was Rocky Lombardi in a 4th down pass, 2nd and goal to Hinkle from 2 yards out, and it was 7-7 with the PAT being good. Then Ankeny Centennial came right back, drove it down the field. They took it at the 20, drove it 80 yards, and Jensen Gates from 20 yards out ran it in over the left side. The extra point was good, and that makes it 14-7. Centennial at half. Then Valley came back, gave it up on downs, and Centennial had a couple plays and got it down to the 20 before the clock ran out. But that's the way we stand here, 14-7 at half. Keith Bornas joining me again here on CISN.TV. We're not showing video of the game. We're doing audio, and then our audio will go on to the video, and we'll show the replay. So you'll be watching this on video to be the replay because of the high school regulations. But so what's Coach Swenson saying then to the guys at halftime here?
Right now, he's in there saying, fellas, we knew what was going to be happening here. We understand that Centennial is a very fast team, and that's the only thing we could not duplicate in practice. As far as the plays they run, how they come in with their offense and move the ball, and all the motion and fake handoffs and reverses. We know it's here. We just have to find the ball. We got to have a better nose for the football. And then he's going to tell the guys offensively, settle in. Let's not get overhyped. We got to make sure that our emotions are under control.
we're going to come back and win this game. That's typically how he would approach a halftime like this. And, I was talking to Paul back here while you were on with Rick Rowe, and we were looking down there. Most of the Valley coaches were just outside talking, trying to figure out what kind of adjustments they're going to be making on the defensive side. They're going to start talking about, okay, where do we want our linebackers to be? Do they need to drop into passing lanes and then come up and fill? Do they need to fill and we just force them to throw and rely on our corners? Regardless of what it is, they got to find where the ball is quicker. And then offensively, Coach Winston's just telling them, execute.
And then on the other side, Centennial, they run everything pretty well, offensively and defensively. But you got to imagine that Coach Bizzetti are saying, hey, this team don't let up against them, because if you do, they'll make you pay for it. So they got to come out and continue executing like they have in the first half.
They really do, and they're going to continue. They'll continue to execute. They're too well versed not to. But the thing about Bizzetti is, we haven't seen what his trick plays are going to be. He's in a game where we're looking at Valley coming out. They're going to get the ball first coming out of half. If Valley can answer, get a good drive, get a score, or at least move the ball downfield, they have a chance to either kick a field goal, pin them deep, something. If Centennial holds on the opening drive, we're looking at Bizzetti now trying to dial up something that's going to separate them. One more score. And so we're going to see something on when they get the ball back right away.
I was going to say, Paul,
and that game was. This could have gone a whole different way. But I don't think, Keith, I don't think either team really did anything to correct in that first half, because if you're going to make adjustments, but here's the thing. Got to remember, Centennial was up 17-0 on Dowling in that ball game, and then Dowling scores 33 unanswered to go on and win that. Centennial was in a close game last week with Ankeny. When's the last time Valley had a close game? Week 3 against Dowling. It has been a while since these guys have been in a spot where they've had to look around and a little gut check. That's the hard thing when you're so dominant and you have that competition.
That's what I'm talking with Rick Rowe. He was saying, they, especially like his son with the linebacker, you're looking for all those keys and looking how you make adjustments, and then if you only play a half, then you.
That's right.
Then you don't
your
get
conditioning is off, and your game experience at that type of a level. Centennial has, I think, a little edge when it comes to those closer games. Are they a better team for 4 quarters? We'll find out. But in the first 2 quarters, yes, they are. But they've also had good first 2 quarters a lot this season. But speed, Keith, you and I have discussed this, I think, week in and week out. Speed is hard to coach.
It is.
And it's also hard to defend.
And that's why we talk about setting that edge and your linebackers being in a correct spot, because it doesn't matter how fast you are. If you can keep people in a box, you're all the same speed. And so then it just boils down to who's got that power play.
Another plug I want to make before we get to the second half here. We sent out the announcement today that CISN.TV will be doing the Girls State Volleyball Tournament in conjunction with you, Paul, at IPTV. Do the first rounds up in, and then IPTV will take over and do the championships.
The finals a week from tonight on Iowa Public Television. It goes all day. But you here at CISN.TV will be setting the table throughout the week with the coverage and have volleyball from what used to be known as the 5-Season Center and is now the U.S. Cellular Center in Cedar Rapids. So CISN TV will have games, and remember they have 2 courts, so they'll be able to stream both of those games. It'll be a busy day, a busy few days for you folks that are going over.
Well, unfortunately, the first day is election
going
day.
On Tuesday?
Election day Tuesday, there's some kind of big deal where there's some kind of race going on there, and so I'll miss that day, but I'll be over there the next day. And anyway, so that's the coverage coming up here on CISN.TV. And if you're listening tonight, you want to check us out. We'll have the video of this game up with our audio on it coming up tomorrow. Centennial set to kick off here as Valley won the toss and deferred to start the game. And
I do need to give one more thing. Halftime, Dowling leads Waukee 15-14. The winners of these 2 games will play each other a week from tonight.
Wow, 15-14 at half, huh?
Yep.
So we're set to get underway in the second half here. It'll be Blake Robinson kicking off, and back deep is we got Mason and Mitchell right back there, I believe. Yep, to receive. And here comes the kick, and taken. It's not going to be touched back inside the goal line, all the way up. Mitchell up across the 25 to the 26. He must have held it from breaking the plane down there, because if it goes into that end zone, it's an automatic touchback. You can't run it out. But he caught it there. The official looked and then said, take it out.
And Valley did a nice job. There initially was a nice seam for Mitchell to head up into. First contact was made at about the 19-yard line, and Mitchell was able to roll off to the 26-yard line.
So Valley will come out trailing here 14-7 with 1st and 10 at the 26-yard line. And looks like they'll come out with Mason in the backfield. They'll send trips to the left, a single receiver to the right for Rocky Lombardi. Gives it to Mason over the left side, looking to turn the corner. Stiff arms a man, still going, and he's going to pick up a couple yards over there, but just could not find that seam to turn the corner.
No, there was nobody out there to pick up those linebackers that were scraping out there. The 3 receivers out there, each moving downfield to try and get that block. Centennial just moved inside it.
And, that's interesting, that play, because that was designed for the outside the entire time, which I don't know if you would think about doing against a team that's faster than you on the edge.
2 receivers to the right, hand off to Mason up the middle. This time he finds a little seam there and gets a few yards before he's taken down by number 9, Ben Heimer.
3rd and manageable from the 28 now.
3rd down and 5 at the
33, excuse me.
33, yeah. Well, it's a little different from what I thought he was. 3rd and 4, we'll call it. 3rd and 4, they send trips to the right, bunched up to the right, single receiver to the left. Lombardi fakes it to Mason, kicks it ahead himself. He dives ahead. He's very close to the first down. Looks like we're going to mark it right at the line at the 36. It'll be a first down for the Tigers.
One thing that Paul and I talked about all season was when Rocky is only 6'3", but he plays like he's 7'3". So when he falls forward, he's going to pick up some ground.
He's got a long stretch there, yep. Trips to the right again, same formation. They wing it out to the left side, one-on-one coverage out there, and a good job by the defender to knock Hinkle out of bounds. Or no, that wasn't Hinkle, that was Mason. And
loss of 1.
They're going to mark it behind them. He must have. I thought he had it right about the line of scrimmage, but they knocked him out behind the stick there, so it brings 2nd and 11 at the 34. Or 35, make that. For the Tigers. This time, Twins to each side. They send Mason in motion to the right side. Lombardi fakes it, now takes it up the middle. Got some room, still spinning ahead and knocked out at the 45-yard line. A good pickup there. It'll be 3rd and short as he gets 10 yards.
8 carries for 56 yards for Lombardi. He's almost the leading rusher for the Tigers, and I would not be surprised if he ends up being the leading rusher for Valley before this game is done.
They bring Jacob Morris in now. He'll set up slot on the right, 2 receivers right, 1 left, and Lombardi takes it ahead himself here. And still going, moves the pile ahead, piles down to the 46 of Centennial.
Now he's the leading rusher.
Now he is. Big Sam Rogers. We have 2 Sam Rogers on the team. One plays defense, one plays offensive line. And Sam Rogers got a fantastic push, but he had a little assistance from Rocky Lombardi.
Yeah. So 1st and 10 at the Centennial 46. Ankeny driving here after taking the kick here to start the second half. 9:43 and counting. Lombardi drops back, hands it straight off, and stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Mason with the carry.
So Keith, what is that What does a defense do when they're trying to key on a running back? Are they just crashing an end on a play like that? Because that's about the third time that Centennial's been able to stop him like that.
Yes, they're doing such a great job reading the offensive linemen. When the line starts pulling, they usually try and you look at them as they're taking the defenders to where the ball carrier's going.
They take Morris out, bring in another receiver, and go twins to each side. Lombardi again fakes back, now runs it himself. Across the middle, spins around out toward the 40-yard line, and it'll be pulled down. They're going to mark it at the 41. So Lombardi runs it again. Takes it from the 46 to the 41. And it'll be third down at 4 for the Tigers. Looking to the sideline here. They got Matney and Hinkle wide to the left. Two receivers also to the right. Mitchell's in there at the back. They wing it out, and he can't pick it off the ground is Hinkle. Low there, right about the first down marker, and that'll bring up a 4th and 4. And it looks like the punt team's going to come on and try to pin them back deep.
And this is kind of what we were talking about at the start of the second half. Centennial tries to come out here, get a stop. They're going to get a stop here. I think Valley's defense needs to start looking at the possibility of some type of trickery by Centennial when they get the ball.
Riley Moss back deep to receive. Here's the punt coming high. He calls for the fair catch immediately, comes up to the 20 and takes it there. And that'll be where Centennial takes over. 1st and 10 at the 20. With 8:13 to play in the third quarter, they lead by 7 and take over at the 20-yard line. Well, just beyond the 20. We'll call it the 21, I guess, for Centennial. And Chance Gibbons brings them out. They're going to put that triple bunch to the right, and they send one guy out beyond that. A single back in the backfield for Gibbons. Drops back, fakes the handoff, looks to the throwback, now throws it out wide. Has his man out there at the 35-yard line. On the catch, Isama.
Now, you take a look at what they were doing. They had 2 wide receivers out there on the line, which means when they throw the ball downfield, if those 2 guys went downfield, they would have an illegal man downfield. And so a little trick play here because Valley's defense is reading those 2 guys, expecting it to be in the backfield.
Because they're covered, right, by the outside guys, so they're not eligible then. But they can throw it to the guy behind.
Or if they stay on the line of scrimmage or behind, a guy sneaking out can go downfield and make a catch.
Now they send trips to the left. One comes in motion. They fake to him, and they hand it off up the middle for a couple. Was that Gates?
Yes.
Jensen Gates on the carry.
Manual the tackle.
Picked up 2 to the 37. Kind of amazing, too. One penalty, the only penalty so far in the game has been the kick out of bounds there tonight, I believe.
2 well-coached, yeah, that's right. Yeah. 2 well-coached, disciplined teams. That's good to see.
So 2nd and 8 now for Centennial. 7:30, clock rolling here. Gibbons sends 2 to the left. Got a slot on the left. Drops back, wings it out wide to the left, and he takes it. He's going to be dropped at the line of scrimmage there. First guy, Noah Barr, hit him, and then a couple others came over and helped out. Sam Rogers got out there too, I think, didn't he? And Ryan Van Bali was the receiver.
And Valley, a great job by the corner to actually come up and make that play right away. He didn't wait for the receiver to come to him. He went up and met the receiver. And you have to meet Ryan Van Bali. He's one of the fastest kids in the state of Iowa. So if he gets by you, you're not going to catch him.
So the pass nets no gain, and it's 3rd down and 8. A big 3rd down now here for Valley, and timeout call by Centennial, as they want to talk it over here. And let's take a break. We'll do that and be back right after this.
Why do I look for the seal? it's about trust. Whether I'm buying a car, hiring a contractor, finding a tax preparer, or an honest mechanic, the Better Business Bureau seal means this business meets high standards. When I see the seal, I know I'll get what I pay for. No more taking chances and no more worries. And I feel good about supporting local businesses. My life is so much easier knowing I can always trust BBB accredited businesses. It pays to look for the seal. See for yourself at bbb.org/Iowa. Why do I look for the seal? It's about trust.
We are back now at West Des Moines Valley. 3rd down and 8 for Centennial. 6:43 to go here in the third period. They lead 14-7 over the Tigers in this second round playoff game. Call the timeout. They have 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Rolling to his right, looking downfield. Turn at the first down marker. Had a receiver there. Double fumble. Picked up. Going back the other way. Valley. Tackled. It was Noah Barr. Picked it up. And brought down at the 20.
That was indecision on the quarterback's part.
Well, yes,
in a sense.
Yes and no in the fact that he had 2 receivers. He had the decision to go short or long. As he's coming up to the line of scrimmage, he's trying to pull that defensive back off of the deeper receiver who's at the first down mark.
Yeah, he had him. I saw him look like he was kind of curling back, and he kind of waited, you're right, and then he got hit, coughed it up. So the first turnover, I believe, for Centennial, right? Because Valley had the interception. So the Tigers take over 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line with 6:32 to play in the third quarter. Fake the handoff. Lombardi keeps it himself, cuts it up inside the 15, takes a hard hit there, down to the 14. As was at 11, Tyler Rogers put the hit on Lombardi as he turned the corner, but he gets a pickup of 6.
Lombardi comes up just a little hobbly, looking to try and stretch something out.
So 2nd and 4, he picked up 6. He's got Mitchell in there now with him in the backfield, and they send 3 receivers to the left. Hinkle's the lone receiver on the right for Lombardi. Takes the snap, gives it off to Mitchell. Mitchell winding his way up the middle. Keep going, and now down to about the 10. He might have a first down. Official on this side is going to stop the clock, and it looks like the ball is right on the line, and they're going to give him a first down. So it'll be 1st and goal to go here for the Tigers at the 10-yard line.
Kind of time to change your play calls here to make sure that Rocky's still stable on his feet and has the knee and the ankle underneath him to get going on this.
So they send Heald, Matney, and Brown to the left. Hinkle, the sole receiver on the right. Throws it right to Hinkle, and he's knocked down quickly at the 5. They read that pretty good there. It was Riley Boss on the tackle. The corner came up quickly on that, a pickup of 4.
But what you do is a play like that sets up something for later. That you would think, why are you not trying to take it for the end zone? But that's one of those, let's run the out, because now we're going to run the out and up, or a different pattern from Hinkle.
Matney and Brown to the right. You've got Mitchell in there at the tailback. He takes the handoff and plows into the pile, spins, and tough going in there. Got down to about the 5, picked up maybe a yard. And tackled by Connor Spensley. So 3rd and goal to go at the 5 for the Tigers.
Now, freshman football, we're going to call this 4-down territory. But with a great kicker,
that's what you said. That's what you said last time they went for it and scored, right? Drop back, Lombardi looking. Now throws, knocked around and knocked down in the end zone.
Tariq Brown was intended.
Well, they had a couple Tigers right in there. Brown was in there, and Mason too, and it was knocked down. So it'll be 4th down. Looks like they are going to send on the field goal unit this time. Lombardi kind of shuffling over there. It looked like he's still a little sore.
Yeah, a little hobbly.
But took a hard hit.
Yeah, he looked left on that play. I think the first read was to the left, or if that was trying to set up across the middle. So the Tigers are going to try to take points here.
A 22-yarder from Cole Hahn. 4:08 to play in the third quarter. Here's the snap, the hold, the kick is blocked. Blocked. No good.
Now,
kick is blocked.
In addition to it being blocked, the unfortunate thing is now it comes out to the 20.
Yep, so you gain field position on that. So Centennial takes over, 1st and 10 at the 20 after the blocked field goal.
So the turnover yields no points.
Yeah, the fumble ends up scoring off of it.
But you're knocking at the door, 1st and goal. Great defensive stand by Centennial.
Centennial will bring them out. 14-7 here. 4:03 to play in the third quarter. Tiger defense will be looking to try to get another stop. And Centennial looking to add. Double slots, 2 receivers to their left, and they hand it off. The deep guys running a long ways. Van Bali looking for some room there and not finding much. He did a lot of running to get a yard out of that.
Nice job by Noah Barr to come up and make the initial contact behind the line of scrimmage. The running back for Centennial, very fast, was able to break through out of him, but Nate Yenser came in and finished that play off.
So 2nd and 9 at the 21. They send Sama out wide right. 2 receivers to the left, slot on the right. Slot comes in motion, and a stumble there as he got to the line of scrimmage that time. Couldn't get up any steam was Jensen Gates. And he just stumbled as he got the handoff, and he loses a yard on that.
And so just like that, it's 3rd down all of a sudden. It's like Centennial is they have not been effective on 1st and 2nd down in these second half drives.
So it'll be 3rd down and 10. Ball now just behind the 20, so we'll call it 3rd down and 10 and a half. About that. Here comes Centennial. 2 receivers wide right, 1 in the slot on the right. Will Gibbons drops back, rolls right, hit, and spins out of it, goes ahead, and he's going to get back to the line of scrimmage and be dropped there. And that's about it. Sam Rogers hit him first in there, and then they pull him down and he loses a yard.
And that is very good defensive end play. Moving upfield, you want to be as deep in the backfield as the ball is. You don't want to be deeper than the ball, you got to get to the ball depth. And he was right there, was able to force the quarterback up right back into the defensive line.
Hinkle and Barr back deep to receive. They're back about the 50 to take the punt there. And here's a high kick coming over toward Hinkle. He puts up the fair catch sign and takes it at the 45. So the Tiger defense forces a 3 and out. They'll take over with 1:56 to play. Dowling leading Waukee 22-14 third quarter. And the winner moves on to play them in the Unidome. The winner of this ball game to play the winner of that one. Dowling ahead by 8. And the Valley offense gets the ball back after a stand by the defense to force the 3 and out. Take over 1st and 10 at their own 45. Mason comes out with Lombardi. They'll go with the twins to each side.
It's now 29-14.
Rolling to his right. Going deep, halfback pass, and it's picked off. Picked off at the 25. He was looking for Heald, but it was picked off. Was it Mason that threw it?
Mason threw it.
John Tamer picked it off.
And Heald was open. It was just an underthrown pass.
Which sometimes when you have the halfback throwing that happens, so quick turnaround back the other way. At the 25 for Centennial. Whole 8 seconds of possession time for Valley, and they turn it back over to Centennial at their own 25. They'll go with the double slots, 2 receivers left. Fakes, now handoff, gives it the outside man. He spins around and comes all the way around the right side. That's Gates.
Carried by number 2,
Jensen Gates.
Tackled by number 18.
And Grant Stotts with the tackle.
Down for the Jaguars.
Gain of 12, is that what you just said?
Up to the 35, a gain of 10.
Yeah. That was a good sprint.
I was a little confused in that motion myself that time. A lot going on there as he spun around and then eventually gave it to the slot coming around. You got Ben Breeding, the tight end, now on the right, and he'll send 3 receivers to the right. Single back in the backfield. Slot comes in motion across to give it to Gates, coming through the second man through to the right, and he'll get a few yards there, maybe 3 on the first down run.
On that play, Sam Rogers playing the defensive end. He is now assigned to quarterback, and he went, just in case he still had it, we're going to go hit the quarterback.
Under a minute now to play in the third quarter. Centennial hanging on to the 14-7 lead. Coming off the interception from the halfback pass. They send Sama wide to the left. It's Pinniger wide to the right. Double slots in there. Slot in the right comes in motion. They fake it to him, and the quarterback keeps it. Or did they give it to him?
Hand off.
And they did give it.
Ball's out.
Oh, ball does come out late. Picked up by Barr. Is it going to be Valley's ball? Was he down? No signal yet on that. Did he say he was down or?
I don't think he's saying whose it is.
They aren't saying they're Valley ball. Now they're saying Valley ball, are they? No, wait a minute. They're still talking about it. Did they say? I haven't seen a signal. Have you?
No, not yet.
They're talking it over. Yep, now Valley ball.
Now, somebody's offense needs to hang on to the ball security.
Yeah, way to jinx it there, Dar. Earlier. No penalties. You should have said no turnovers.
Well, we've had 3 turnovers now here in the third quarter.
In the last, 2 minutes.
Yeah, 32.8 seconds. Valley now takes it over. And they got Jacob Morris in there at the slot. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Hand off to Mason. Mason follows his blockers, scoots ahead, still going, and drives up close to the first down as Ankeny trying to rip that ball out of his hands, but he held on to it. And Mason gets down to the, 26? It's a pickup of 9.
One of the ways that the Maroons took it to Centennial 3 weeks ago is they got more physical and the yardage got longer and longer as the game went on.
See if they get off a play. They snap it with 2 seconds to go. Mason bounces outside, rolls backwards ahead, get the feet churning, and he's going to get the first down to the 24-yard line. Pickup of 2 on 2nd and 1, and that'll be the end of the third quarter. We'll go to the fourth. Valley in good field position, trailing 14-7. Back to the fourth period after this.
American Energy, part of putting power in your hands is helping to keep families safe. That's why Mid-American provides free educational safety programs to schools, asks you to call 811 before you dig, have annual furnace inspections, and be aware of hazards at home. Mid-American Energy safely delivers electricity and natural gas to us in good times and stormy ones. That's Mid-American Energy.
Our roots are here in the middle of America, where humble beginnings can grow into great opportunities, where hard work and high standards are the key ingredients to success, where honesty and integrity matter. We're proud of our roots, proud to be a part of a community that shares our values, and grateful to our customers for giving us the opportunity to grow.
Back here at Valley Stadium, the fourth quarter, after a sloppy third quarter that saw a fumble by Centennial, a blocked field goal by Centennial, an interception by Valley, then now a fumble by Centennial, and Valley is first and 10 at the 24 of Centennial here, trailing 14-7 as we start the fourth quarter. Twin receivers to each side. Flips it out to Hinkle on the left side. Inside the 20, spun over out of bounds. Whipped out of bounds there by the defender, Pinniger, I believe.
Yeah, Jake Pinniger on the tackle there. You know, Dar, when these teams were freshmen, up at Centennial was up 14-0 going into the fourth quarter, and Valley won 21-14. If this holds true, it's going to be 28-14 Valley. if freshman games
we'll
mean
see.
anything.
Lombardi hands off to Mason. Got some room with the right side. Cuts it back. Pushes it outside. Stiff arms the defender down to the 10 and knocked out of bounds. A little mark him at the 11, but a good run by Mason.
Braden Heald. No, it was Mason, but Heald had the block on that outside edge that he kept that thing, Keith.
Yes.
The whole time.
So a 6-yard pickup brings down to 1st and 10 at the 11, so they could still get a first down without scoring. Here comes Tariq Brown into the game, replacing Morris, Jacob Morris. So they're going to go, well, he started to come back off. Now Morris will come back in, and Brown will come back out. They got 10 seconds to get the play going here. As they look to the sideline, Hinkle wide to the left. They got Mantney and Heald wide to the right, and the ball snapped, but I think they must have called the timeout to avoid the penalty there. They did as the play clock ran out. So a little indecision, Keith, on what personnel they want to have the blocker in there, extra blocker, or they want to have the extra receiver, and then they ended up having to call a timeout.
Yeah, and in this position, Valley is now starting to move the ball through on the ground a little bit better, and so you want to make sure that you have a blocker for him to go. At the same time, Jacob Morris is a pretty good receiver in his own right as well, so it's not that he couldn't slip out as well. It'll be interesting to see what they do here. My gut says they'll keep Morris in and try and pound it out a little bit here. On a shortened field like this now, a lot of times those pass plays become very, very tight.
We saw what you talked about too again about Mason. That was really a good, hard, tough run. That last one down there, a couple stiff arms and just keep pounding in there. So we'll see if they try to go to him now or if they go. Let's see, Morris is coming back in, so we'll see what they do.
Well, and Mason out here in a one-on-one situation.
Yeah, Mason wide to the left, trips receivers to the right for Lombardi. Here's the snap. Looks to his right, throws it out there, and knocked down behind the line of scrimmage. They were trying to set up something with Heald, but yeah.
It was him the whole way. I had the binoculars right on him. He didn't even go forward. He just turned around and had two receivers or two blockers in front of him. Unfortunately, the blockers couldn't do anything.
Couldn't move anybody out of the way. So 2nd and 10. This time they'll send Hinkle to the left side, move Mason back in. The tailback slot, put Morris over there. Lombardi rolling out of trouble, and then he gets sacked. Got sacked by
97.
Cameron Cowan, okay.
And you wonder if Rocky has got something going on with an ankle or a knee. He's just not looking as fleet of foot as he's typically.
So they drop it back at the 18, loss of 7. And now Valley looking to the side to get the play. And Rocky does look a little gingerly moving there. He comes up under center now. Rolling to his right, stops, looks to Hinkle crossing there, under pressure, rolls around, now rolls back to his left, all the way back across the field, looking, now he'll run it, cuts it up inside to the 10 and down inside the 10 to the 9, but he's going to be well short of the first down. They had to get it down to about the 1-yard line. And boy, he kept the play alive a long time, but just could not find anybody to throw it to.
Yeah, great coverage by the defensive backfield of Centennial. And now the field goal team comes on.
The 22-yard attempt last time was blocked. Cole Hahn comes on now. This one will set it up at the 17. It'll be a 27-yard attempt with 9:41 to play in the ball game. Try to make it a 4-point game, and the flag comes flying in.
Must have lined up in the neutral zone.
Must have. And how many players are there out there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I thought maybe they had one too many guys out there, but Now they're talking with Centennial.
Well, it might have been one of those things that maybe an official heard something that he shouldn't be hearing from players.
Well, that would be big if they end up calling it like a personal foul there.
Yeah. Unsportsmanlike.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Half the distance to the first down.
They didn't say automatic.
No. Let's see, half the distance would be at the 5.
And Gary's about at the 21, and he's wondering the same thing you guys are, but they still have the field goal team out.
Yeah, because if they were outside, say they were at the 25, it'd be 50, so it still wouldn't have been. It's a 15-yarder, but it's only half the distance, so.
Well, but they're trying to figure out what type, if unsportsmanlike, is it an automatic first down, or if it's not, like a personal foul would have been.
They're going to move it down to the 5, so the ball will be set at the 12. It'll be a 22-yarder again. From the left hash, Cole Hahn. Snap is good. The kick is good. 22 yards away. Cole Hahn makes it a 4-point ball game.
And Valley's in a situation where it needed to be a 2-score game anyway, regardless of the order that it happens, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown.
Okay, is that a Kirk Ferentz thing? No. So, 14-10 here with 9:33 to play in the ball game. Off the 22-yard field goal by Cole Hahn. And Valley will kick off to Centennial. So the only scoring here in the second half is a 22-yard field goal. And Valley cuts the lead to 10. And with the way Valley's defense has been playing, they've been shutting down the Centennial. So you're right, they can get the ball back and score. And Riley is back there deep to receive for Centennial. Here's Cole Hahn on the run-up. And the kick is going to come into the end zone for a touchback. I'm trying to see, I can't tell where's the flag if there's much wind. They don't have the flags on the end of the goalposts there. It doesn't look like there's much out there, is there?
There is no wind, and that ball sailed through the end zone. Cole Sonnenberg, I believe is his first name, Sonnenberg ball boy. Again, he has received more kickoffs tonight than anybody else has.
So Centennial will take over. First and 10 at their own 20. 9:33 to play. They have a 4-point lead, 14-10. Gibbons. 2 receivers each side to send a man in motion, and there's a flag down. There's maybe too much motion in there.
Looks like Valley.
No, they're going to say Valley was off.
Yeah.
Okay. So they must have jumped when Snyder went in motion.
There's that defensive end on the near side.
So a penalty. Moves it up, makes it a 1st and 5 at the 25 for Centennial.
When you are trying to locate the ball in the backfield and they have all of that motion and fakes, sometimes when the first guy goes in motion, you forget to watch the ball.
So they send 2 receivers wide, a slot to the left, 2 receivers wide to the left. Slot comes across, the quarterback, he spins out of a tackle, gets up to the 30, and almost 30, got knocked down. Looks like they had him stopped for no gain, but Gibbons spun out of the tackle and almost got the first down there. He's going to be just short. I think, or are they going to give him the 30? No, they're going to give him forward progress. Yeah. Okay, so they'll give him the first down at the 30.
All that ball has to do is break the white line, and that's a first down, and that near official was calling it the whole way. That would have been a 5-yard loss, or I'm sorry, that would have been 5 yards back. That's 5 extra yards Gibbons got on just moving his feet.
Well, it would have been 2nd and 5 again. Yeah. No gain, but he got out of the spin move, got the extra 5. Slots to each side. Slot comes in motion. They hand it off to the back coming through, Gates. And he gets nothing there.
Rogers came to make that tackle and prevent that. That time they got it wrapped up.
Second and 10 for Centennial. 8:42 to play here, clock rolling in the fourth quarter.
Gates now with 79 yards on the ground on 15 carries in this contest, guys.
Centennial scored first. They've led all the way. Valley has the only score here in the fourth quarter, excuse me. Wins to each side for Centennial. Man goes in motion out of the backfield. Gibbons under pressure. He rolls out of it over to his left and is tripped up from behind as he looked like he was picking up steam to head up the field. 40, what was it? Nava got him. He picked up 5, but it looked like he might be on the way to a first down and much more. As he picked up speed, but Nava really come from behind there. Nice speed.
Yeah, Vidal Nava really very good speed for a guy in interior line.
You hear the Valley fans on their feet clapping. 3rd and 5. The Tigers need to stop here to get the ball back to try to get the lead. Centennial needs the first down to stay moving, hang on to their lead. Two receivers right, hand up, no, fake to Gates, hits the tight end, and he's dropped for the first down. The big tight end, Ben Breeding, he's had several catches tonight, and that's a big one there as he picks up the first down, a 7-yard pickup to the 42. They keep the chains moving and the clock rolling.
Good play call right there. A lot of that motion had been going up the middle, and as play action as Centennial gets is what they just did there.
And it's easy to forget that tight end when you're looking at all those backs and the receivers, isn't it?
He's a big target too.
Double slots now. Twins to the left. Slot comes in motion. They hand it off to the back, deep back, and he takes it right up. Got for a few yards there. Snyder.
Carried by number 10, Sam Snyder.
Carry.
Joe Wellman in there at making first contact. Wellman playing for the injured Austin Cook. Cook ended up having an injury last week against Lewis Central, has not been able to be in all this evening.
Pick up 2. We're going to send 4 guys out wide to the left.
Again, the inside receiver is covered.
Yep. Single back in the backfield. Hand it off to him. He plows up the middle. Gates, and he gets not much.
It's Nava again.
Maybe give him a yard on that. So 3rd down and 8. 6:04 and counting here in the fourth quarter remaining. Valley trailing 14-10 against Centennial. Centennial a big 3rd down here. Valley's going to come up with another stop. Send Sama and then Valley wide to the left for Centennial. One receiver down to the right, looking, throws across, and he hits his man there for the first down.
Sama.
Is it Sama? Yep. Down to the 44.
Keith, he ran that route right at the first down marker. That's where they hit him. That was a great run.
Yes, and that's what they've done all night with the receiver that just kind of sneaks into that empty zone where it's just tough to cover.
So now 1st and 10 at the Valley 44. 5:35 and counting here. Centennial comes up. This time 3 backs. That 3-back set, haven't seen that all night. They hand it off to the second back through. He spins out of there. Gates looking for room, but he's pushed down behind the line of scrimmage. And Grant Stotts on the tackle. Gates loses a couple yards.
That was an old Ankeny High player right there, Keith. That was straight out of the old misdirection days.
Well, you're now getting into the point in the ball game where you want ball security. You're just going to try and drain the clock. And so 2nd, 3rd back through is back into your power game.
This time they'll come out and they'll send 3 receivers. Left the little double slots and a single back. Fake the handoff and give it to the other back coming across. Gates, who cuts it outside. Oh, just tripped up.
Brendan Rowe made a huge stop
on Gates. Gates was turning the corner and had a lot of green ahead of him, but Rowe got a hand on him and tripped him up. And might have been at least a first down saving tackle, and it might have been more than that. It gets down to the 41. 3rd and 7 here, 4:17 to play. Centennial at the 41-yard line of the Valley Tigers, the Valley defense.
Centennial's going to take timeout.
Yep. They're going to talk it over here.
They've converted, the Jaguars have converted 2 third downs on this drive. 2 huge plays. The first one to the tight end, and then the second one
to Sama, wasn't it?
To Sama. They've done passing plays, and so now it's that. I won't say risky, but you got to look at the percentage.
The run hasn't been quite as effective here in the 4th quarter for him. The Valley's been able to shut that down a little bit, and they've also been able to keep Gibbons in check a little bit from the scramble, it seems like.
So if you're over pursuing to stop him, Coach, what do? If you're Centennial to expose that weakness, because that's exactly, I think Valley is rolling the dice on a lot of plays, and they're exposing some real estate downfield.
Yes, we have seen the reverse now twice, but we have not seen the reverse pass. And so they're setting that up well. The other thing is this, Centennial is now in a situation where they're going to have to get a score, or their defense is going to have to be more. Now they're at 2
Clock stopped at 3:59 to play in the ball game. Centennial leading 14-10, 3rd and 7 to the Valley 41. They got that bunch set to the right, dropping straight back, looking, rolling, under pressure, rolls out of it. He's going to get the first down all the way across the 30, down to the 27-yard line. So Gibbons does it with his feet. He kept looking upfield. Nothing open, and he took off, and he got free. They're down to the 27.
Gain of about 16. Stotts had a chance at him, but open field tackle. That play, I think it was designed for that way, but all the attention was down here on that side, on the right, on the near side of the field.
Try to go one-on-one.
If you're not going to deceive me in the backfield, deceive me somewhere else.
Here comes Centennial. They go with those double slots again, a single back in the backfield. They send the right slot in motion. They hand it off to second man through is Jensen. Jensen Gates, I believe.
Here by number 2, Jensen Gates.
And he gets down to the 22, so pick up the 5.
That's his 19th carry of the game for 91 yards.
Clock rolling toward 3 minutes here.
And Gibbons has run it 14 times. It's been a lot of time on the ground.
Trip to the semifinals on the line here. Here comes Centennial. Double slots. Left slot comes in motion. Fake to him. They give it to Gates, the second man through, and he's stopped right at the line of scrimmage.
And now it's time for Valley to, on a 3rd down now, to try and get the clock stopped. And
use a timeout. 2:47 to play. And it'll be a 3rd and 6. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Let's see, 3 times they've converted 3rd down here. You were talking about a ball and another big 3rd down for Centennial on this drive. Now they're at the 22. They've had a couple different guys kicking field goals. Both Pinnekers have kicked here. They've kicked the longer ones. Let's see. Jake Pinneker is 1 of 2, and he's kicked a 51-yarder. Hunter Pinneker kicked a 50-yarder. Of course, he's out of the game. Blake Robinson is 3 of 5. He's kicked a 33-yarder, his longest. So they're in range here to kick a field goal. Of course, they want to keep grinding as much time off the clock as they can. And they've been able to convert their 3 third downs here on this drive. They come out with that double slot formation again. Single back in the backfield, 1 receiver to the right. Slot comes in motion. And the quarterback keeps it, and they stop him behind the line. Dropping back there. It was Rogers was in there, and the answer in there on the tackle.
And now Coach Swenson takes his final timeout.
Hey, Keith, what's Ankeny been known for a long time?
Kickers, right?
Yeah.
Now at Centennial, they have the same thing. Coach Jamie Cole coaches the kickers. I hear any day you go up to Ankeny Stadium, there'll be Jamie Cole with about 6 guys kicking in the middle of summer. They're like, is this a camp? No, just guys who want to kick. They're working on holes, they're working on snaps, they're working on punts and kicks. Cole Netton, who kicks for Iowa State, played for Coach Pizzetti when he was still on the south side. Ankeny has long had a tradition of kickers.
Come to think of it, I talked with
associated with Jerry's program.
With a guy in Janesville. His son plays up there, and he sent him up to Ankeny to work with the kickers there because his son was thinking about kicking maybe at a small college. So they are going to try a field goal here. They'll mark it.
A parent field goal.
Yeah, a parent field goal. They'll mark it about 31, so it'll be a 41-yarder here. Set for the snap. Snap is low. Fumbled. He's going to roll out of there. Looking to throw. Looking. He throws it late. It's going to be incomplete. The Tigers will take over on the 24-yard line. 1st and 10. 2:30 to play in the ball game. Was that it looked like a bad snap maybe, or was that a play? That's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell because it didn't appear as though anybody rolled out.
With receivers, to go out there. So I think it was probably a bobbled snap. And anyway, they don't get the kickoff.
Or they had no intention of kicking it. And that was the play the whole time. Just run. It takes some time off. And if you happen to get open, or somebody gets open, throw it. It's got to be a guaranteed. No one around but a box.
Yeah, but you'd think you'd want to make it a,
you'd want to make
force Valley to go for the touchdown.
But Valley has to get the touchdown regardless.
Yes. Yeah. So here come the Tigers. 2:30 to play for a trip to the Unidome. Lombardi brings him out. Drops back. Fakes to Mason. Rolls out. Throws back over to Hinkle. Catches it. All around the 35. Around a defender, he had to put his hands out and make the catch, and Hinkle does, and that's, was that Pinniger? He made the catch around.
Pinniger almost picked that thing off. Pinniger went for the interception.
And if he had it, he was in the end zone for 6, but it's 1st and 10 for Valley on the 35. Clock rolling, 2:19 to play. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Lombardi rolling right, looking. Well, couldn't get it.
Trying to run before he had the catch.
Brown was about the first down marker, but dropped it. The only good thing about that is it stops the clock for you. But you don't gain any field position.
And I think he would have been down real soon. There were about 3 Jaguars right there at that exact moment. And so it looks like Valley's going to be content with the 10-yard out, 7 to 10-yard outs here to go down the field. Because you do have to run the clock differently with no timeouts.
Yeah, they burned all their timeouts.
Even with 2:12.
So they send Field and Brown wide to the right. Hinkle's to the left. Swinging out to Mason out of the backfield. Cuts it up to the 40, and he'll be dropped up around the 47. They can't waste a lot of time to get up there. 3rd and 4. Clock under 2 minutes now. 1:53 and counting. Barney takes the snap, hands off to Mason. He cuts it up. He's got the first down. That'll stop the clock up to the 50-yard line. 1st and 10, 1:44 to play. The Tigers have a first down.
Yes, everything they are in 4-down territory because a field goal, as we said, does them no good.
Clock rolls now. 2 receivers right, Hinkle to the left. Marty fakes to Mason, rolls, looking for Hinkle out there. He's covered. He rolls back the other way, throws back across. It's caught at the 45. Clock will be rolling. That's Mason. Will have to get up and snap it quickly. 120 and rolling. Tigers look over to the far side to get the play. 2 receivers right, Hinkle wide to the left. Hinkle does a quick stop and go. He's getting out there to Heald. He's knocked out of bounds for the first down. Picked up the first down yardage and got out of bounds. Down to the 39 of Centennial. 1st and 10. 1:07 to play. Trip to the Unidome on the line.
And a lot of times people are trying to figure out, where has this offense been? Well, you have to remember Ankeny's in that, or Centennial's in that
prevent defense.
They just got to stop them from getting in the end zone.
That's
so they can give up anything up front. Trips to the left, one receiver to the right. Lombardi drops back, looking to his left, slings it out. The receiver falls down. That was Heald. He fell down.
Probably actually a good thing, because he was nowhere close to the first down, and there was a Jaguar.
They tackle him out there. It's going to take a lot of time off the clock.
Zach Kluver was there and absolutely would have made the stop.
So 1:03 to play here. 2nd and 10 at the 39 for the Tigers here in Centennial. Centennial's 39. Centennial's led the whole way. They lead 14-10 here. Valley has to get into the end zone to win this. Wins to each side. Lombardi drops back, looks to his right, wings it out long to the right side, and it's out of bounds. Over the head out there of the intended receiver, Heald. Brings up 3rd and 10. Of course, you said they're in 4-down territory because it's end zone or nothing for them right now. Trailing by 4. 58.1 seconds to play. Got Matney and Hinkle here to the left. Brown and Heald to go to the right side. It's Iman Mason, the back in there with Key Lombardi. Shotgun snap. Lombardi back, looking. Throws across. A high catches. No. Good to Heald. He went up high. Is it completed?
No,
incomplete. Okay. I was going to say, I didn't. And Heald will come off. He was shaken up. He went up high and got hit hard there. So it comes down to a 4th down play here. The Tigers have to get a 1st down to stay in this. 52.7 seconds to play. Centennial looking for the big upset here. Trying to hand the Tigers their first loss of the season and move on to the semifinals.
Dar, you've done your homework there. This is the first time Centennial, if they can hold on, will go to the Dome in school history.
In the semifinals. Trips to the left for Lombardi, one receiver to the right. Dropping back, looking, under pressure, rolls out of it, rolls to his left. He thought about running, he's hit. Can he break free? He does break free. Throws it down the field. At the 25, it's caught. First down, Tigers. Was that Pizza?
It was Heald. Unbelievable play.
How did Lombardi get out of that? Wins to each side, 39.8 seconds. Clock was stopped on the first down. Now
Centennial calls a timeout.
Centennial calls a timeout. Holy cow! Lombardi. They tried to bring him down, but he spun out of that. Did you see which defender that was?
I was watching downfield.
I was too. And Lombardi put it in. He spun out. He kept his eyes downfield and found his receiver, Heald, and got the first down. On a 4th and 10. They get it down to the 25. 39.8 seconds to play. Valley looking to keep the undefeated string going, but that's more important. Move on to the semifinals and a chance to meet up with. Was Dowling still leading it again?
I think it is. It's late 4th quarter.
Late 4th quarter, Dowling was leading, so Centennial trying to hang on. Wins to each side for Lombardi. Here's the snap, dropping back, looking to his left, throws it out there. It's off! Intercepted! Is that Pinnacle? No, number 5 is Riley Voss. Yep. Picked off with 33.6 seconds to play. Intercepted by Centennial.
The Jaguars have been jumping those routes on this drive, and that time it paid off. Huge play. Valley somehow pulls a Houdini, and then all of a sudden, Centennial steps up, makes the play, and the Jaguars are going to be headed to the Dome for the first time in school history, Doc.
Picked it off about 15 and ran it back up to the 29, which doesn't mean anything because they can just come out and take a knee. So Centennial on the verge of the upset here and moving on. And Gibbons comes out, he'll take a knee. Clock will roll here. And a big upset. As undefeated Valley will go down to Centennial. Is the clock winding down now? 10 seconds, and Centennial fans will count it down as both teams stream out to the middle of the field. And almost looked like they were going to pull it out with Rocky Lombardi making the big play on the first down, but as you said, Paul, Centennial just kept jumping those routes and finally got one picked off.
That ball might even have been underthrown just a little bit, but it was a tough route. They're jumping because that's what Valley was having to run at that point. Were outs because they're out of cannot
no
run in the middle of the field.
They had to take all their timeouts to stop the clock, force Centennial into a field goal, which they never got off. Valley took it over down at the 24-yard line and drove it all the way down, but then it was the interception. Ends the ball game, and Centennial will move on to the semifinals to face Dowling. Well, let's take a break. We'll come back and do a scoring rundown and wrap up the ball game after this.
Hiring a contractor, finding a tax preparer, or an honest mechanic. The Better Business Bureau seal means this business meets high standards. When I see the seal, I know I'll get what I pay for. No more taking chances and no more worries. And I feel good about supporting local businesses. My life is so much easier knowing I can always trust BBB accredited businesses. It pays to look for the seal. See for yourself at bbb.org/Iowa. Why do I look for the seal?
At MidAmerican Energy, part of putting power in your hands is helping to keep families safe. That's why MidAmerican provides free educational safety programs to schools, asks you to call 811 before you dig, have annual furnace inspections, and be aware of hazards at home. MidAmerican Energy safely delivers electricity and natural gas to us in good times and stormy ones. That's MidAmerican Energy.
Our roots are here in the middle of America, where humble beginnings can grow into great opportunities, where hard work and high standards are the key ingredients to success, where honesty and integrity matter. We're proud of our roots, proud to be a part of a community that shares our values, and grateful to our customers for giving us the opportunity to grow.
Here at Valley Stadium, Centennial comes in and upsets Valley 14-10. Valley getting the trophy presentation here in the middle of the field. Not the size trophy they wanted. They wanted to move on, Keith, but man, what a good season, you know, and it took a great effort by Centennial to knock them off.
That's right. You know, you've got to credit Centennial's defense. I think Valley's defense did a wonderful job. They held Centennial to 14 points, but Centennial's defense really came up and did some great things, and it just kind of took Valley out of its offensive scheme and also out of their rhythm. And so I think Coach Lenson is going to say credit Centennial. They came in, they played hard, they got the victory.
Well, and you know, they talk about defense winning championships. In that second half, fumble forced Valley, then a forced against Centennial, then a blocked field goal by Centennial, then an interception on the halfback pass by Valley. Then there was a field goal that didn't get off that was stopped, that Valley came back, and then the interception that seals the game. So a lot of defensive action in that second half, and just one field goal scored in the second half. We'll run down the scoring for you. Ankeny Centennial got on the board with 11:53 to go in the second quarter, a 4-yard Jensen Gates run. The PAT was good, and it was 7-0. Valley went for it on 4th and 2 with 5 minutes to play in the second quarter, and they got the pass from Lombardi to Hinkle. The PAT was good, and we're tied up 7-7. Ankeny Centennial came back with 49.2 seconds to play. Jensen Gates 19 yards out. PAT was good, and that was 14-7, our halftime score. No scoring in the third period as we went back and forth. We talked about it, fumble and blocked field goal, and then another fumble in there. In the fourth quarter, Valley got the 22-yard Cole Haan field goal with 9:33 to play to make it 14-10. They forced the turnover. The field goal that didn't get off by Centennial. Valley took it down the field, and Rocky Lombardi at the play before the interception looked like he was going to be tackled. He rolled out of it, found yield for the first down at the 25, and it looked like maybe they were going to pull one out, but then the interception on the next play, and Centennial gets the interception, turns it over, and wow, Paul.
So go with me here for a minute. Say the field goal's not blocked, and now it's a 1-point game. You get the ball at the 25. 37 seconds. I still think Valley takes 1, maybe 2 tries to get it in the end zone, and then tries to kick it, and then would have won by 2. That's one scenario.
Yeah, me too.
But Centennial was on their heels when Valley started running the football well in the second half. It seemed to be that offensive line that had given Valley troubles early on in the season had started to gel and was coming together, but they just couldn't provide enough time. I mean, Lombardi was getting time to throw it in that second half, but only on 6 to 7 yard outs.
Well, go back though to that drive before the field goal that Centennial didn't get off. They had like 4 third downs they converted, and that just kept eating up the clock. So Valley finally had to use their timeouts before that field goal that didn't get off, and then that put them in a situation where they had to go. They had to, look for those outs, as you said, and
and I had Rocky Lombardi 15 to 26 passing for 100 yards, and at 100 is being very, I think, favorable. I think I missed 1 or 2, but if he didn't get to 100, he was very close. But Javon Mason, 15 carries for 83 yards. Rocky Lombardi, 9 carries, 76 yards, but it was Gates for Centennial, 20 carries, 92 yards. Gibbons rushing had 15 carries for 57 yards and was 7 of 11 passing for 94 unofficial stats. So let's face it, Centennial ran by Valley in a few situations tonight, and it was very hard for the Tigers to compete with that speed.
Right, and they talked about it all week. We know what they're going to do. The kids were watching film all week. They were very focused on it. But if you can't catch what's going out there, you can't stop it if you can't catch it.
So the final here tonight, 14-10. Centennial wins. They advance to the Unidome in Cedar Falls, where they'll place Dowling, which was leading in their game. Valley ends up at 10-1. Centennial moves to 10-1, and they move on. And great season, guys. A great game tonight. Thanks for joining me on this. It's been a fun football season here, and appreciate all the hard work you guys put in here on CISN.TV throughout the season. And it's been fun to have kind of a couple games going and then joining up at different times throughout the season. It's been a good season overall and a great game here to end it up. So the final here, Centennial 14, Valley 10. That's going to wrap it up from Valley Stadium.
Tonight, Central Iowa Sports Network presents.
Cole's going to get the call up the middle. He sees a seam. 10-5, touchdown Maroons. He's got a seam. 5-2-1, touchdown Valley Tigers.
Central Iowa Football, live from Valley Stadium in West Des Moines. Central Iowa Football is brought to you by the Atlantic Bottling Company, CenturyLink, Central Iowa Football, live on the Central Iowa Sports Network. Central Iowa Football is also brought to you by Schottenkirk Chevrolet, Shields. Are you ready for some football? Tonight, Central Iowa Sports Network presents.
Cole's going to get the call up the middle, and he sees a seam. 10-5, touchdown Maroons. He's got a seam. 5-2-1, touchdown Valley Tigers.
Central Iowa football, live from Valley Stadium in West Des Moines. Central Iowa football is brought to you by the Atlantic Bottling Company, CenturyLink. Central Iowa football, live on the Central Iowa Sports Network. Central Iowa football is also brought to you by Schottenkirk Chevrolet, Shields. Are you ready for some football?